All right, so we're going to work Netacad Lab 19.3.6. It is a packet tracer lab. So you get into this point, you click in here to download the packet tracer, and then you open it up. 19.3.6. All right, so we've got some instructions here. We're going to start out our things that our objective here is 3 parts: secure passwords, encrypt communications, and verify SSS implementation. We've got an addressing table here we may need in a minute. Instruction part 1, A, using command prompt from PC1 telnet to switch 1. All right, so we're going to go to our PC1 desktop, and we're going to go to command prompt. That's right. And we're going to type telnet. And what was the address? Let's see, it's 10.10. Yeah. All right, it asks for a password. We probably need to know what that is. It doesn't tell us.
Do we also have to put the subnet mask in there right behind it?
No.
No?
You need to, that's a good question though. The subnet mask is when you're configuring a device for the address. When you're connecting to it, you just connect to the address. They don't tell us the password, so I'm going to assume. Then we're going to enable. When it doesn't tell you the passwords. It's Cisco, password or Cisco. What does it tell us here? Oh, it does right there.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
It does tell us, yeah.
It says invalid command. Oh, time out expired. That's fine. All right, that makes sense. Let's try it again.
When you get to the point, we'll do step B.
Okay, so we're there. Is that right?
Are you at the point where you're at the S1 and a pound sign on your?
No, I typed in password and then put the EN there.
Yeah.
It's just putting password.
Well, you got the second password is also Cisco. If you type in EN, it should ask for a password. You want to use Cisco again. Now, whether it told us that in instructions.
Okay, all right, I got you.
All right, so now we're right here at this. All right, so we're going to. EN is for enable. It moves you from the user prompt to the privilege prompt, basically. The user prompt is that little greater than symbol. Privilege prompt is the pound sign. All right, so the next part 1, step B, it wants us to just save the configuration. Just in case we make a mistake, we can undo it.
Wait, hang on. I don't have that pound sign. Is that pound sign? Or is that just an arrow?
The arrow was
Arrow's up there.
up here. Pound sign is this one.
Do I have to put in enable after that?
This is where you're at. You enable right there and type in Cisco.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's it. Whoa. That one was way back here.
All right, fantastic.
So part 1, step B, you're going to copy the configuration. It's having us do that just in case we make a mistake. Copy running config to startup config. Press enter. Leave the default destination file name, press enter.
Yep.
And then it should say building configuration and then OK.
Yep.
Go back to the prompt, all right? Step C, show the current configuration and note the passwords are in plain text. So we're just going to say show SHOW running config or show run. Let's find the passwords in here. Here's a password right here. Enable password Cisco. And then if we keep going, this line BTY04, password Cisco. They are in plain text, as they said. We're still at 0 completion. Why do you think that is? Because we really hadn't changed anything yet, have we? We've been looking at it. So we completed part 1. Then we completed it successfully, as best I can tell. So part 2, we're going to start encrypting communications. Part 2, step 1, part A. All right. So we're set the IP domain name and generate secure keys. All right. In order to set to generate keys, you have to have a domain name. Here they give us a name for one. So we're going to go in configuration mode and we're going to type this command right here. We're going to give it an IP domain name. Maybe I can paste it. That would be great. I'm going to do configure terminal or config T. And it's a global command, so which means you're not inside any other interface or other area. And I'm going to paste that right here. All right, so it took the command. It can be a little underwhelming when things actually go as like when you enter in that command, it just pops back down the next line. If I would have done something wrong, it would have given me an error, but since it did not, it just takes it. All right, part B, we're going to generate the crypto key. So the command RSA, all right? Now let's do it this way though. Let's just type the word crypto and do a question mark. Look at our, yeah, space question mark. And then we got key as an option. We'll space question mark. What do we got now?
Generate or 0 eyes?
We don't want a 0 eyes. We want to generate. Right. And then we'll do another question mark. And then the only option is RSA. The question mark after that, we just see a CR for carriage return. So that's the only option we got. So we're going to press enter. Comes up and gives us an option. It wants us to choose. The default is 512. We want to make it 1024. That's the size of the key, and we press enter. It'll tell us that it generated a key, which, you know, it's nice to be informed. The reason we had to generate a secure key is in order to use SSH for encryption, you got to have a key that that locks and unlocks the transmission. So that's why we had to do that. All right, so we're going on down to part 2, step 2, create an SSH user and reconfigure the VTY lines for SSH only. All right, so that's a lot, but let's, yep, that's it. Administrator and Cisco. Hey, look, our completion, my completion is at 28%. How about yours?
Says 14.
I got 42% now that I entered that.
Well,
we'll figure it.
Maybe I need to wait till I enter that.
I'm going to show something here before we do this next part B. Once you got the username set, once you got step 2, part 2, step 2, part A done, stop. All right. Before you do the BTY lines, I want you to stop for a second. I just want to talk about that. I want you to do a show run.
Before we do the line.
Before you do the VTY line changes. Have you already done that?
I started to, yes.
Well, have you actually made changes already, or have you just entered it?
Put the line VTY 015, enter, login, local.
Oh, you already done that. Oh, that's fine. I just wanted you to look before we do it. Let's just leave it the way it is. But you see right here on the screen, this is before we made the change. Line VTY 5, 15, and 04. That's two different line increments. By doing VTY 0 through 15, you're making changes to both of those. All right. And right now it just simply says password Cisco and login. So we're going to be making the changes here in order to make this one allow SSH and to switch to login local, which means login local means it's going to use that username and password that we set up before, the administrator password. And then we're going to remove that password Cisco off there because we don't need that anymore. So, all right, so go ahead and do what you're doing. So by typing 0 space 15, it actually means 0 through 15.
I'm just curious, after I've done that, I'm at 71%.
Yeah, I'll tell you here in just a second. I'm at 85. You're missing 14% somewhere, but we'll figure it out. All right, so somewhere from before part 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
And it may be that what you missed will not allow this to finish, and it may be that it will, and we'll just have to go see what it might be cosmetic. I don't know. All right, so we are on part 3 now, right?
Right.
So we're going to exit the telnet session, and we're going to attempt back to connect with the telnet again. It shouldn't work. All right, so we're going to exit this, exit again, and exit again. We're going to get out of here. Boom. Now we're back at our command prompt. You can go with the up arrow up one time, or we'll try to telnet. Yep. Connection closed by foreign host. It does not want it now. It only wants to accept an SSH connection. So.
Mine says connection 10.10.10.2 closed. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
All right. So you successfully shut yourself out of telnet. Now the hope is that you did the SSH part right, otherwise you won't be able to connect. But that's why I had you save it, so you could just reboot it and start again if that happened. Let's just imagine you're in your Las Vegas office, after a night of the roulette wheel, and you're in your device that's in, I don't know, Duluth, Minnesota, and you just did this. I mean, you really, really don't want to have to catch a plane to Minnesota, right? But anyway, let's hopefully there'll be somebody up there that can do it, reset it for you. What's the next step? Okay, attempt to log in using SSH. Type SSH and enter without any parameters. Says type SSH, press enter. So we're SSH, the test, press enter. All right, so it actually wants, it tells us the parameters we need, right? -L and the username, administrator, I say it that way so I know how to spell it. Administrator. And then the target 10.10.10.2 when you press enter. All right, then it just asks for the password now. That password was Cisco. It says, if you were unable to access S1, toggle the power and begin again at part 1. All right, so we're going to go to the privilege exec prompt by typing enable and our password. Yeah, I'm only at 85% myself right now, completion.
71.
So there's something that I didn't do right as well. So, all right, so I'm going to do the check results right here. And that's, you can do this too, right? Check results. You did not complete this activity, so let's go here and see. I got an X on service password encryption, so I did not do the enable secret command, I guess. But I'm not done. This thing's still available to be done. You can go back and
IP domain name is incorrect too. That's what I missed.
okay. So I'm going to go service. No, I'm going to do, what is it? Enable secret. Cisco. What did it tell us to make the enable secret? Service password encryption. Did we not do that? Okay, yeah, so I'm at 100% now. So that's good. So if you were to do service password encryption and then go fix that domain name, then it should be all right. So our actual communication between this workstation and the and that switch is now encrypted. So anyone along that path who intercepted our communications would not be able to read what we're doing. Did it work out for you there, Charlie? Still fixing it?
Yeah, I'm still fixing it.
The way I keep from making typing mistakes is copy and paste, but I'm not learning as much that way.
Running through the steps here.
I'm going to start something here. We'll do this in practice as well. So I'm starting Wireshark on my computer here. I'm going to start capturing packets, so everything my computer is doing. And I'm going to go into this. I got 3 different devices that are on the network here I can connect to with this. One of them is Telnet, so I'm going to open it and connect to it. And enter the password, and then I'm going to exit that. Then I'm going to stop my capture. I'm going to go to capture filters here, and I'm going to look up, let me see, what was that? It was 10.0.0.1. Come on. Here we go here. So So this is me from my computer connected to 10.0.0.1. So we connect to Telnet. Here's some data here. So while we're at it, you want to do another one of these? While we're here recording?
Yeah, sure, why not?
What was the next one?
1944.
1944. Build a switch and router network, okay. Let me get rid of this other one here. All right, so 1944. All right, so we're building a switch and router network. All right, so we got a whole addressing table here. There's going to be lots of configuration likely. All right, so we need to, our objectives are going to configure devices and verify connectivity. We're going to display device information. Then we're going to secure remote access to a router. All right, so part one. Step one, there are already devices deployed in the workspace. You will need to connect them using the correct cables between devices listed below. All right, so we're going to connect. So we know our cable area is under connections. And we want to connect PCA to switch one. So we got the ports here. So I'm going to use a copper straight through for that. I'm going to click on PCA and I'm going to connect to the fast Ethernet port. And then switch one, it wants us to go to fast Ethernet 01, so that's here. And then switch one to router one, so gig 01 to gig 001. So that's two unlike devices, so straight copper straight through will work fine. Gig 01 to gig 001. Yes.
001 or 000?
001.
Okay.
And then we're going to do from router 1 000 to the PC. So PCB. And fast Ethernet 0. Yep. F0. Okay. So we have everything physically connected. That's awesome. All right, part one, step two, we're going to configure the IP address and all the deets on PCA and PCB. All right, so we've got our addressing table up here, PCA and PCB. So I'm going to PCA first. Go to my desktop and my IP config. I'm going to try to get that on the screen with me here. All right, I'm going to PCA is 192.168.1.3. Subnet mask is /24. That's nice. Default gateway 1. Well, that's not showing right here. I'll show you. 1.1. Doesn't have us, doesn't show us configuring anything else. So good enough. There's no save required on this particular config screen. You just enter it. See, it's still there. All right, so we're going to do the same thing for PCB with the other items in the address table. PCB is 0.3 and 0.1. Desktop IP config 192.168.0.3. Sub.mask populates for us 192.168.0.1 as the default gateway. Checking it. We got it. Oh, look at that. I made a mistake right here. 169. It should be 168. Typo. Boom. All right. There we go. So we got. So we have connected the devices, and then we did part A and B here. Now that we've got those done, it wants us to ping PCB from the command prompt window on PCA. Take a look. It wants us to ping PCB from PCA. Just looking at this right now, is that going to work?
Oh.
No, it's not. But let's do it because it tells us to.
Right.
And we're going to do ping 192.168.0.3. Oh, hold on. Ping 192.168.0.3. Yeah, it's going to get 4 different failed attempts here. Timeout, timeout, timeout. All right, we don't have, our links are not up on the other side of this switch. So no matter what, that needs to be up. So it's not going to work. So the question was, were the pings successful? And we can all unanimously say no. So now we're going to configure the router 1, configure R1. We're going to console into the router and enable privileged exec mode. All right, so we got a console to it, so clicking on it here is not going to work, or it shouldn't. If we go to the CLI, see, it's locked out.
From PCB?
What's that?
Do we have to go from PCB since it's immediately connected to it?
Yeah, that'd probably be the smart thing to do. Yeah, so we're going to take our console and we're going to click on it, go RS-232 and go over to this, and connect and say console.
USB
Regular console. Going to go into PCB and use our terminal program. We're going to OK the defaults, and they're going to see that we're connected to the router. Assign a device name to the router according to the addressing table. It's probably R1, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, that sounds right. That's enable, and then configure terminal.
Yeah, config T. Oh, enable, right? And config T. And then we're going to type host name, capital R and a 1.
Right.
How's our percentage progress going? We're making some progress.
What's your
I'm at 32%.
Oh, that was almost there. 32.
Good.
Yes.
Assign class as the privileged exec encrypted password and assign Cisco as the console password and enable login. All right, so the privileged exec password is the secret.
Oh, sorry.
It's got a couple things it wants us to do. So we'll just do the first one. Steps 3, part D. Assign class as the privileged exec encrypted password. All right. So we're going to, here at the command prompt, we're going to say enable secret. And what do I want it to be? Class. I'm at 35% after that.
It's telling me it's in complete command. Am I still in secret mode?
Are you at the command prompt?
Yeah, I'm at command prompt.
So do the enable
And the question
And question mark, yeah, and then choose secret. Yeah. They'll show you how to spell it.
And secret. And it's telling me incomplete command.
Let's see if I can read between the lines for you. Well, enable secret, then you got to do space after secret, and you got to give it password.
Oh, that makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to enter in this line. So it wants to be class.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
All right. So we're at back at, we got that done. Now we're going back to here to see. Now it wants us to assign Cisco as the console password and enable login.
So that's
the line and the console. So let's do a show run here real quick. Show run. And we're going to go to the bottom. So you got the line con 0 and the line VTY. We need to assign
0 or 034.
Well, first let's do the, there's two different things we got to do. So the line, because it says we got to do the, where was it at? Console password and enable login. So let's do the console password first. The console password would be the way we're connected right now with a cable. We want to put a password even on that.
Okay.
So we're going to config T and we're going to say line con 0. And the password is Cisco, is that what it said? Yeah. I went up a couple of % for that. And we want to do the, now we can back up one to config again. Then we're going to do line VTY 0 through 4, or I always do through 15. I think that'll be fine. Password Cisco. Actually, that did not. Hold on before you do that. All right, it didn't seem to increase our percentage, so maybe we didn't do something right there. All right, we'll fix it as we need to. So we're on part F right now. Step 3, part F, encrypt the plain text passwords. We need to get back to just the regular global configuration area. Service, password encryption, press enter. Brought us up to 40%. All of our passwords now, if we do a show run, they're encrypted.
How are you skipping so fast through all that? You haven't? You just...
Yeah, see where it says more at the bottom?
Yes.
If you press space bar when it says more, it'll go by at a page at a time.
Oh, that's okay. I've just been holding down enter.
Yeah, enter will work too. It's just sometimes these things can be pages and pages long, depending on what you're configuring. All right, so I think that get it. I'm up to 40%. Anybody got a higher number?
No, I'm at 40.
Anybody below 40? Well, let's see if we can keep moving here. Create a banner that warns anyone accessing device that unauthorized access is prohibited. So we're going to, I'm going to copy this unauthorized access is prohibited so I don't have to type that. And I'm going to.
What kind of banner is that again? Is that a login or a?
Yeah, I'll show you here. So when you're at the config prompt, we're going to just type banner.
Right. I put banner question mark and I'm wondering which one.
There's, yeah, we want to do a MOTD, a message of the day.
All right.
And then we want to here you've got to put this in some kind of, so use like the quotes or the single quote, either one. And then put your text that you want to display right there. And you can question mark after that, but I think all we got to do is character term. We're going to press enter. I went up to 42% with that.
What was the message? Where's the message at? What part are we at? I'm lost.
Banner message of the day, just put something in there.
It says create a banner.
I just used unauthorized access is prohibited as my message. Did it take yours?
I'm making it fancy.
Oh yeah, of course. People do that. I've seen them where they spaced, use special characters to make a picture. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Skull and crossbones, whatever.
I put at signs on the top and then
Oh, yeah.
unauthorized access prohibited at signs.
Nice. All right, so we're down to part H. Configure the IP address according to the addressing table and activate both Ethernet interfaces on the router.
And I'm still at 40%.
Okay. Did it take your banner?
I think it did. It didn't say an error.
So if you show run, and you should be able to see your banner in there.
Yep, that's there.
All right, we'll move forward and hope for the best. Yes. Right, so we are going to configure the interfaces on here now with the IP addresses in the addressing table. So I'm going to go up here to this thing, and just to make it easy for me here later, I'm going to take a little screenshot of this addressing table so I don't have to keep going back up to the top. But we want to, our router has two interfaces. It's got 000 and 001, and here's the IP addresses for it right here. Right? So I'm going to go to back to here. We're still in our router. We do show IP interface brief. IP interface brief. You'll see that these are unassigned right now and down. So we need to assign them and then enable them all at the same time. So I'm going to config T, and I'm going to go into interface gigabit 0/0/0. And then I'm going to give it an IP address. (192.168.0.1). And with the subnet mask, we're actually adding it to this. We're actually, notice 192.168.0.1 was the default gateway we used on one of the PCs, right? I'm also going to say no shut because it is administratively down. I'm going to no shut it. Then I'm going to go into interface 001. Put an IP address on that as well. 1.1. I'm going to no shut that too.
You did what, no shut?
No shut. Now if I do show IP interface brief, I see that I have two interfaces, and they're both addressed and they're up. Status is up and the protocol is up.
Hang on, you did the no shut twice?
Yeah, I did it on the 0 interface and the 1 interface. It's like,
oh, okay, I get you.
yeah. Now the shortcut on these is, you can use the up arrow key and just change what you need, right? Got us up to 57%. Got all our link lights are up now. That's good. It wants us to save the configuration and ping again.
Okay, look at that.
60%.
Yeah, I've done something.
I'm going to exit out of my terminal here, and I'm going to go to my command prompt. I'm on PCB, so if I was to ping PCA, I should get a response, at least fingers crossed, right? Hey, timeout once and then 3 good replies. I go to PCA and I can ping it the other way. So now we're passing from PCA to PCB. We're going through a switch and a router. I noticed that we haven't done any configuration on the switch at all yet. We're going to do a little bit, I think, to finish this up. All right, we're going to configure things on the switch similar to what we did on the router to make it secure, more secure. So we got a few steps to go here. There we go. Right here. So console to the switch. All right, so we're going to go over to PCA and run a console cable from PCA over to this switch. Go to PCA and use the terminal. Likely it's going to ask us to change the name of this.
Which port did you use on the PC? RS-232 or the?
Yeah, RS-232. That's a serial port.
And you're in the console.
Yep. And then we changed the device name. Now it wants us to do passwords, privilege exec, and the Cisco as console and enable login. And then encrypt plain text passwords. We're going to do all of that. Service password encryption, encrypt all the passwords. Gets us to 70%. So I'm up to about step F. He wants us to create a banner again. PCA banner, all right, and then configure the IP address for switch virtual interface VLAN 1 according to the addressing table. So I got my addressing table right here. It wants our IP address to be 1.2 on VLAN 1 on switch 1. I'm in config mode on switch 1. I'm going to interface VLAN 1 IP address 192.168. What's the thing? 1.2. You got to put the subnet mask on there so it knows which part is the network and which part is the host. I'm going to no shut that. Brought us up to 80% doing that. We got to configure the default gateway according to the addressing table. So our default gateway for switch 1 is the address of the gig 001 router on R1, 1.1, right here. I'm going to exit out of the interface, VLAN 1, and just go back to the global command prompt. IP default gateway 192.168.1.1. Brought us to 82%. Save the running configuration to the startup configuration file. Copy. Running. Hold on, I gotta get out of config. Copy running config to startup config. 85%. We got 15% to go. I'm feeling a little bit nervous about that because this is like a lot of display stuff, but we're going to do it anyway, see where it leaves us. All right, we're going to, most of you up to this point?
I'm at 72%.
Okay, we'll figure it out in a second.
That's fine.
Well, we can figure it out with the check results. We're going to go to do the rest of these steps here. It doesn't seem like it's going to have us configuring. Oh, here's some remote stuff here. Yeah, here's some stuff, more stuff to configure down here. All right, so we're going to do the show version stuff on R1 and switch 1. So right here, I'm on switch 1. Show version, so you can kind of get familiar with what this will show you. I mean, you can see it's got the, it shows you the version of software you're running, where it booted from, the number of interfaces. I mean, it's got the number of volatile, non-volatile memory available, model number, the serial number. It's got all kind of stuff in here. It wants us to do the same thing on the router. It's not going to increase our percentage any, and it's going to show you very similar stuff. Do that if you'd like. All right, so we're going to go to the router, and we're going to display the routing table. So I need to go to PCB at the moment. Terminal, okay, boom. See my little wimpy little banner?
Yeah. Uh-huh. That looks really good.
All right, I'm going to, what does it say? Show IP routing. Show IP route. Yeah. And it's going to show us where our routes are and where they're learned from. Directly connected. All of our routes we're getting are all stuff that are directly connected to us, which is okay because that's our network is small. All right, let's go back. What other worthwhile thing do we got? Display interface information. We're going to show interface gig 001. All right, so we did that, and it's got some questions here. What is the operational status of the interface? All right, so line protocol is up. The interface is up and the line protocol is up. does it have an operational word in here? I don't think it does. So we're up and up according to that. What is the media access control address of the interface? So what is the MAC address they're asking for? Address is, it's got it right here.
0060.3 etc.7
802. It duplicates it right here and it says BIA and then listed again. Just burned in address is what that means, but it should be the same. How is the internet address displayed in this command? So the internet address.
92.168.1.1.
Yeah, it's listed in, I don't know what they're actually meaning by that, but it's listed in CIDR notation, right, with the /24. It just says internet address is. I mean, that's how it's listed. I guess the answer to that would be this. You copy that, paste it in the answer. If you were answering, if I required you to answer these questions, which I don't necessarily do, right? At least not when it's got a percentage like this. All right, so now we're doing a show IP interface brief. It's going to show us status. Okay, these are show commands. They're not helping us anything. Show IP interface brief on the switch is going to show us different stuff, but kind of the same concept. All right, part 3, we're going to do some more configuration. We're going to set the IP domain and generate the crypto key, create a user and all that stuff like we did a little bit earlier. And then we're going to connect to it. So this should start increasing our percentages some right here. Our IP domain, academy.net. On the router, here we are. I'm going to paste that because I like it. Generate RSA. What are my crypto? Is that right? Yeah, crypto key. Key generate RSA 1024. Done. Took us up to 90%. We're getting close. Now we're going to create the user, configure our VTY line to use login local and to allow SSH. Username, SSH user, secret Cisco. It tells us that SSH has been enabled. Line VTY4 login local. Transport input SSH. After the input, I want you to do the question mark and see the options. You got all, none, SSH, and telnet. So we're specifically specifying SSH. So that's all the configuration at that point. We're up at 95%. Now it wants us to choose PCA and then connect from the command prompt using this command here from PCA, all right? Password. Unauthorized access is prohibited. We're in. We're at 95%, so somewhere along the way I missed something. So I'm going to check my results here, but let's see if the gig 0 interface showed. All right, so that's just some reflection questions I'm going to check. Look at my assessment. It looks like a login is incorrect for physical. And login is incorrect for physical. So what did I do wrong there? I'm missing, I guess, a couple of percent for each one of those. R1 and switch 1. All right, so I'm going to go back to those. Let's see, what did I not follow instructions?
See what, I'm happy.
Log in local, let's see.
I may not have passed it, but I'm still happy with the progress that I did on this. That's a lot of green.
And the upside to these, you can save that where it is right now
Uh-huh.
and work on it again. You don't have, it isn't like test out where you got to start complete from scratch. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just save the packet tracer where it is, open it up later and work on it some more. All right, so I'm going to check the results here and see if that fixed that one thing. It did not, so I'm not doing something right. Log in is incorrect, so what did I miss on the login? So after the assign Cisco as the console password and enable login. Okay. Yes, that's all it was. It's just got to use the word login.
You're so close to.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get there. No, I didn't like it that time. What was that? Maybe it said something different for the router. Console password and enable login. Run that again and see where I'm wrong. All right, so it's fixed here now. Why is it not? Just fix that. Switch 1. Oh, that's R1. Oh, I was doing R1. I did R1 twice. Okay, that's not helpful. PCA. What?
You need to be in the.
I think I mislabeled this. Yeah, that is. I've got a. Yeah, there we go. There we go. 100%. Man, when you get to the end of one of those things like that, you've been working on time, Miller time or whatever your choice is. Miller time? No. Shane's like, I don't know what you're talking about. PBR. Okay. You're probably too young to be drinking, right? Okay. Yeah. Michelob Ultra Light for me these days, sadly. Low carb.
I drink gin.
Gin. You're one of those, huh?
Not a big fan of beer.
Those gin drinkers are a special breed. All right. That's all we got. We're going to, for those watching the